Chris, I got a message for Jeannie Buss and for the Lakers. Stop the madness. You will regret this. The idea and the notion about J.J. Redick being at the top of your list to be your head coach, Chris, if you got LeBron James and you got Anthony Davis and you really believe you have a chance, you can't put LeBron's podcast partner on his contemporary and ask him to guide this team to a championship.
I get it. A lot of people don't like LeBron. And after LeBron and JJ Redick introduced this podcast last spring, it was very easy to assume that the GM worked his magic and got this man a job. This man quite literally had zero qualifications to land him this prestigious of a job, so understandable. But if you remember last offseason, this narrative didn't really make too much sense because he was never really the first option. He was basically the last. The Lakers fired Darvin Ham in early May, and they went quite a while searching for a coach. They got denied by Dan Hurley. Reportedly, they wanted Ty Lue. They interviewed a few assistants, and all of these felt like the options before JJ. He was essentially the plan B, and understandably so. This move came with a lot of criticism and skeptics. But it's safe to say now, this move has been a home run. This season, to me, it threw as much at a first-time head coach as you can possibly throw at one. Having to coach LeBron James, that's probably the hardest job in the sport. Having to implement his son and face the everyday critiques from the media, that's never happened before. Literally just having to coach the Lakers alone, that speaks for itself. Having to navigate through the biggest mid-season trade we've ever seen, completely redirecting the style of the team and the individual roles of the team. Those are two vastly different players. Having a significant trade that complemented the biggest trade not fall through. I mean, these are all real obstacles that a first-time head coach that's never really coached on any significant level had to face, and he prevailed. Austin Reeves, to me, he's the most improved player, legitimately turning into an all-star alongside ball-dominant Luka and LeBron. In one of the toughest, tightest Western Conference that I've ever seen, the Lakers have the second best record in said conference. Look at where they were last year amongst the West. The Lakers have their second highest winning percentile in the last 10 years. And most importantly, and I know a lot of this has to do with Luka and Austin Reeves' evolution in JJ's system, LeBron finally looks like he can be 40. One of my favorite basketball analysts for the last 3 to 4 years turned into one of my favorite coaches.
What misconceptions or concerns about you that you've heard in the last few weeks are you the most looking forward to dispelling?
It's a valid question, and I've certainly heard everything. However, I don't really have a great answer for your question because I really don't give a fuck, honestly.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings Pick 6. We've seen great hoops all year as we now head into the heart of the NBA season. The games now, they're way more meaningful. And my friends over at DraftKings Pick 6, they want to maximize your experience. All new customers who play just $5, you'll get $50 in Pick 6 credits. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now, use my promo code Swishout, and claim your offer. Playing is extremely easy. All you have to do is pick 2 players, choose if they will have more or less of any stat, like more points, more rebounds, more assists. Lock them in and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now. Use my promo code SWISHOUT, play just $5, and you'll get $50 in Pick 6 credit to work with. Again, that's promo code SWISHOUT, only at DraftKings Pick 6.
He's a good player, but he's so ball dominant, and he gonna get his shot, and he's not worried about anything else. And I actually think Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, has regressed because he's become an outside shooter.
Anthony Edwards, he was the player that people kind of got on earlier this year for shooting way too many threes. Even me, I didn't quite understand the drastic change because last year it was like 6 threes, and at the beginning of the year it went up to like 13. But I genuinely believe people got so used to seeing Ant dunk on people and have these explosive ass finishes to the basket like he did all last year that it became demoralizing to see him shoot so many threes. The funny part is, it wasn't even like he was missing. This man was very efficient. The shots he's taking and making, is basically the math analytical part of the sport now. And basically every smart coach is dying by this logic. The absolute worst narrative I've seen surrounding this one specific topic with Ant was, oh, you want to see why the NBA ratings are so bad and why nobody watches the NBA no more? Well, the future face that gave us Michael Jordan-like dunks, he's shooting 15 threes a game. These are the players with the highest three-point percentiles in a single season while shooting 10 threes a night. He's only behind the two best shooters ever. Also, the impact this has had on his team has been very significant. Last year, even with Cat, who was a much more seamless fit alongside Ant, they didn't really shoot a lot of threes, and consequently, their offense was kind of mid. You can obviously see the difference this year. Also, Ant's playing beside a notorious ball-stopping Julius Randle, who obviously makes the spacing a lot worse. So him shooting more threes always made more sense, and he just played 79 games.
I actually think Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, has regressed. If you guard him, you want him shooting threes, because if he's going to the basket, he's dunking on people, he's getting you in foul trouble, he's getting you into penalties sooner. When he shoots threes, even though he make them.
It did look like before the year that the Cavs Donovan Mitchell thing kind of plateaued. I know Darius Garland was basically hurt for the majority of all last year, but it looked like moving on from him might have been the next option. After watching them last playoffs, it just felt like all of their young players' growths got stunted by Donovan Mitchell's high usage. Yes, we know Donovan Mitchell can score his ass off, but in the last two playoffs, this man was basically taking 22 shots a night, and it felt like everybody else was watching. But now with Kenny Atkinson, their team did hit a new level that I couldn't foresee. With the real defensive player of the year, I don't even know why this is a question. Their defense has always been great, top 5, top 10-ish all year. But offensively is where they really struggled last year, mainly because of injuries, I get it. And this year, they're first. If you look at the preseason odds, as far as win totals, the Cavs, they were only projected to win around 48 games. They're plus 16. If you look at the Ringers' bold predictions before this season even started, they had Jared Allen getting traded. I don't even think that was necessarily a bad take, because it was logical to question, is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen a championship front court? But Evan's development through Kenny's system has allowed this to work effortlessly. The offense runs through Evan more often. Evan has the ball way more than he's ever had. Evan's been way more decisive. If you look at the highest net rating for Evan Mobley between everybody in that starting lineup, it's with Jared Allen. His development offensively and taking a little bit away from Donovan has made that entire offense lethal, and I'm very intrigued to see how that translates into the playoffs. I'm basically calling myself out with a lot of this video, I can't lie, because before Jimmy Butler got traded to Golden State, I wasn't really feeling Jimmy. Now, I always believed in the playoff Jimmy thing, and I've made plenty of videos about that, but how he departed from Miami, it just rubbed me the wrong way. When Golden State got Jimmy Butler, it felt to me at least like a desperate attempt to do anything. But bro, I was so damn wrong. Obviously, this has been a talking point for everybody, but the facts are the facts. Since this trade even happened, they're only behind the two title favorites as far as their record. I know they lost against the Clippers, but everybody, and I mean the majority of the stars, they all played their asses off. But that game versus the Clippers was a perfect example as to why they made that trade happen. Stephen Curry kind of coasting in the first half, and Jimmy Butler carries them while he does that. And then in the second half, while Jimmy Butler kind of gets his rest, it's Stephen Curry time, and he had 18 points in the fourth quarter. Then the Memphis game, the play-in game, the game that actually mattered the most. Bad call on top of bad call, makeup calls, we all saw that. But this is exactly why they got Jimmy Butler. The last time Golden State made the playoffs, and I said this before, they got absolutely destroyed with free throws. Well, now they have Jimmy Butler, and this is simply what he does. If you look at the Warriors' free throw attempts pre-Jimmy Butler, they were the 4th worst. Since Jimmy Butler, they're the 3rd best. With a superstar like Stephen Curry, who's 37 years old and basically runs a marathon every single game to crack their offense open, it is crucial to have a guy like Jimmy give you constant stops and constant breathers. Also, we've seen Stephen Curry can go to the bench and rest, and the offense can still stay afloat with a superstar talent like Jimmy. I didn't quite see the vision at first, I won't lie, but these two should play together for the rest of their careers. They match perfectly, and Jimmy is a smart-ass player, so he fits seamlessly.
Need an ISO. Put the camera on me right now, please. Steve Ballmer and the Los Angeles Clippers should force Kawhi Leonard to retire. I'm done. He needs to go home.
Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
I get it. The Clippers, even to me now, they still feel like one of the toughest teams to fully trust. James Harden's untrustworthy playoff history, Kawhi Leonard's untrustworthy health. I get it. It's extremely hard to fully buy in. But regardless of any of that, they literally went from a team that nobody believed in, cared about, put them in their championship, anything, to legitimately being a championship contender. The exact same article that talked about breaking up the Cavs, that same article had Kawhi Leonard possibly getting traded. After that Team USA thing, when Kawhi basically had to tap out for Derek White because he wasn't healthy enough, it was just hard to trust anything with Kawhi Leonard. He hasn't played the last two playoffs. Questioning Kawhi's contract, that was very valid because he couldn't go in last year's playoffs and we had no idea what he actually had left. But Norman Powell did say something that felt like a jab at that specific time, but it proved to be 1000% correct.
When you forgot guys' first loss at PG, can you talk about your first thoughts about how your role is expanding?
I saw it as addition by subtraction. You know, like I said, more guys get more opportunity, not only myself.
Kawhi's only played 37 games, and he needs somebody to carry the load while he's gone, and that's been James Harden. This season, James Harden, at around 35, I believe he is, he's played 79 games. This man is basically top 10 in every major category. That's because he plays. Kawhi at this stage, he needs that. They've now developed basically a star center with Zubac, who's developed significantly defensively, and him and James Harden seems to be the perfect marriage. How exactly has that benefited the Clippers? Well, like Norman Powell said, you have less mouths to feed, less egos to feed. Two players having career years with Norman Powell and Zubac, and James Harden being that engine to keep everything afloat while Kawhi rests. Kawhi's back, and the man looks healthy. And how does the team look now with an actual point guard and complementary pieces? Like damn near the best team in the conference. In the last 21 games, with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, they've been the best team offensively, the best team defensively, and they're 18-3. Probably my favorite season from James Harden because he's being exactly what this team needs with no ego, no pride, no drama, straight hoops. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section your favorite narratives that kind of got busted through this year or got proven wrong. Follow my social media sites. The playoffs is going to be crazy. Turn on post notifications, doing that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.